Hello everybody, my Anthem. Welcome back. Let's pass on our 4 new orders of America. Let's continue on for the last off. So I was able to send those extra sea volunteers off. It might just take a second for it to actually register. But I did send those units. Hey, there we go. It just took reloading the game. So what do we have for our national focus? We still have... I mean, you're the last one we have left. Once we have finished dealing with India, I don't think we have any other focuses. So I guess we just kind of bank political power for a little bit. We'll see how that kind of goes for us. Aside from that, in the Philippines, things are still... I mean, they're basically stalemated. Some people are saying that we should maybe cheat our way to winning there because they do have those insane defensive bonuses. But we're not going to do that, at least not right now. Let's see if we can put a little bit of support into this army, see if you can crush these German divisions. And what do we want for you? I mean, I guess we think our escort efficiency sounds great. And our reinforcements will arrive on the 18th. So we have about a week. You have 44. As long as we can start like killing off these divisions, that's really all I really care about. Because we have a small encirclement here. And then after that point, who do we try to kill first? Because we either go for Ost Africa or Southwest Africa. Central Africa, of course, is going to be the last one, just because we're so far away. Because your capital is here. I guess we go for Southwest Africa would be our first target. I mean, I guess we're going to see kind of who has the fewer troops, right? Who has less units will probably be our main ally there. How are none of you dying, by the way? German intervention in Africa. Any hope for a quick resolution of South African war has been quickly dashed today as a new Fuhrer of the Reich, Martin Bormann, has officially declared intervention in the conflict, stating the blatant aggression by the American South Africans on the sovereign Boer people and the Reich's commissars in Africa will not go unpunished. So Germany is now directly intervening. I don't think they're going to go to war, but I'm assuming that they're now able to send volunteers to all of their allies, which I think, one, very rude. Folklore, fantasies, and failure. Day Officer Edward Lansdale stared at the table, surrounded by distraught colleagues and scrubs wielding scalpels and saws, and nodded his head in approval. In front of him lay the corpse of one of the unfortunate former Haitian guerrilla, captured while straying too far from camp. He had been turned into an unrecognizable abomination, bearing claws and fur, a perverted attempt to recreate the legendary loup-garou, a man-wolf spirit that cannibalizes its way through Haiti, preying on children. It is the latest attempt of many undertaken as a part of a new heightened psychological warfare campaign being waged by the CIA across Haiti, using false flag propaganda, claiming communists are attacking peasants in the countryside, and playing into perceived voodoo religious superstitions. Lansdale's efforts have drawn the ire of his colleagues, both in the agency and especially with the allied Haitian government, setting extrajudicial execution of prisoners of war for use as half-baked cultural appropriation as a line too far. The campaign has seen mixed results so far, with attempts at playing into local legends being ignored by most, only affecting the most superstitious of guerrillas. Edward Lansdale, however, is not deterred by these setbacks, insisting that he is on the verge of a breakthrough in the emerging psychological field of warfare. Is there anything else? I mean, we're at negative 38 political power, so I'm assuming there's not really anything we can do for our... Because, yeah, Philippines are just kind of the Philippines. We still have to worry about the British as well. Because what are we doing right now? Jackpot. That's for Central Africa. Are you Central Africa? What troops are these? These are Central African troops. So if we were to do... not Angel. Crackpot? We would get an attack bonus against them. So you know what? We'll spend the points on that. Just so we can maybe kill these units a little bit faster. And what are you wanting us? You want us to do Operation Angel, which is... bonuses to our units. Bonus for our aircraft. You know what? We have so much... 20. We have just enough. By so much, I mean one more than will be required. Can we send any more aircraft in? We can send an extra plane. So you know what? Let's send in... We'll send in the 307th Bomber Wing. Send them to Africa. Iberia offers to lease Sao Tome. As the war in South Africa continues to ramp up, so does its involvement of our Iberian partners. The Iberians, much to our pleasure, have stood behind their commitments within the conflict, and have continued to provide much coveted support for our forces, as well as those for our allies. In a recent communication, Iberians have pledged a significant expansion of their existing support within the war. The communication with Washington, D.C. outlines many intricacies and details of Iberian intentions within the conflict. However, one pledge within the document stands out from the others. The Iberians offer the island of Sao Tome, which rests on the north of the equator, not far off from the coast of Central and West Africa, and it carries great potential as a logistics hub for the duration of this conflict. Following the establishment of the Iberian operations in South Africa, they now believe the situation to be appropriate to lease access the island to the United States, granting us an invaluable logical asset. Senior military officials believe that the Port Sao Tome may be effectively used as a logistics waypoint, and further as a possible airbase for a bomber aircraft fleet. While plans for the uses of the island remained in a preliminary stages, we have gratefully accepted the Iberian lease program, and it's estimated the logistical operations upon the island will commence in a matter of mere months. Okay, so he spent $500 million. I know, yeah, spent $500 million. So Sao Tome is not. Oh no, okay, it is this island. It's the island I thought it was. Actually, that's not true. I thought it actually was. I thought it was actually this island. But you know what? That's still a nice island to have. I don't know what it really does for us. You know what? Actually, I think it said in the blurb there, and I just didn't actually read it. Doctrines available. Let's continue on with our air support. Again, naval support doesn't really do too much for us. I'm not really worried about that. Because we have our tank. People are also saying that we should be sending more helicopter divisions in, and you're not wrong about that. And actually, because what are these guys? You are the mechanized divisions. Can I just throw support aircraft into that? You have the AF Recon Company. What if we were to replace Medevac? So what do you provide? Defense, breakthrough. Like if I were just to throw in attack helicopters instead, we don't have enough. We only have 68 in storage. But that's something we will think about maybe into the future. Okay, so I think our units will be arriving tomorrow. And so we'll get, okay, let's get you guys the whole position for the time being. Is there anywhere? I don't know why the game got so laggy all of a sudden. Maybe, you know what, it might be something in Russia. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, we can maybe try to get, like, an encirclement here. Because, like, once all of these units are, like, this is such a substantial part of the, of the German war efforts, that I feel like once they're kind of killed off, it just becomes a cakewalk at that point. You know, let's have you guys encircle this position there, move over as quickly as you possibly can. The tank, honestly, is not doing that much for us. As fun as it is to have this stupidly large tank, it kind of also sucks. It's also not that good. All of these divisions, I guess, we'll just assign into a new army, just for right now. And you will go on the border with Canada. There's something for you to do. That's Australia. Australia, not quite South Africa. It's close, but not quite there. But yeah, you guys have low supplies. Eventually, they will, I think, just start, like, draining. Still negative 25 political power. Like, we're getting a decent amount, but it does kind of take a while for anything really good to happen. Okay, where do we want... Because we're still campaigning here. What is the current prediction for the election? There really isn't a prediction. We are kind of losing right now. We'll have to kind of, like, wait and see how that goes. And prediction for the Senate, I mean, it's still a majority. Actually, it's going to be a 50-50 split right now, which is not quite where we want to be, but it's still not bad. Okay, so I can definitely see if we kill this motorized division, we can get another encirclement here. I think you hold out. I want you over here. Black PSYOPs in South Africa. In war, psychological operations are a given. What is widely known as white PSYOPs is seen as seen in virtually every theater of war. With the distribution of state-approved propaganda, such as newspapers, posters, leaflets, among foreign populations and military ranks. What is lesser known, however, is what's known as black PSYOPs. Throughout the South African War, Iberian psychological warfare units have conducted black psychological operations in an attempt to dissuade, demoralize, and convince enemy forces and populations. These initial operations have seen some limited success. However, in conjunction with the CIA in the United States, they hope to expand the scope of their black PSYOPs. The Americans have been proven to be rather brutal, yet effective in securing a stronger hold over South African territory. In conjunction with the South African government and Iberian psychological units, an operation has been undertaken known as the Phoenix Program. This operation aims to conduct a covert psychological operation upon those in South Africa who may presumably possibly lean in support of the Shield or the Boers. Through exposure, public humiliation, arrest, and even torture, the CIA and the Iberians conduct a campaign of terror among the civilian population who lean in support of the enemy, aiming to neutralize the membership of hostile organizations. This is just one of the many black psyops concocted by the CIA, from whom the Iberians have been taking ample notes. Now, are the Iberians going to go back home and use this in their own operations? I mean, it's quite possible. But I will say that's not really our... Don't send reinforcements here. I need this kind of killed. I need you gone. Yeah, so more wars in... Yeah, it's all the wars in Russia that I think is kind of like lagging the game a little bit right now. But that is kind of to be expected. My other plane, you did now arrive. I want you on close air support as well. I mean, you're all looking like really nice. We're at 60%, 62. You're going to move in here now at 79. And you... I think you have some aircraft, right? You have some helicopters? Yeah, you do. Excellent. The Paraguay Bush War. Is that going to matter at all? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, let's see if we can kind of... I mean, we will definitely crush this smaller pocket. So I'm actually kind of wondering why it takes so long to kill this pocket here. We'll put some more pressure. Because I want them dead. And once this pocket's cleared, all of these other allied units will kind of go to other fronts. This front is... I mean, that front's actually looking really weak. To where I'm wondering if we need to maybe send some units over there. You know, what if we do that? Like, these divisions, let's send you over to this front. Prepare a push into Namibia. Okay, looks like you will also get cleaned up. We're at 74%. Who's on this line? It's that one motorized division. Reinforcement going to Southwest Africa. Yeah, this is going to get cleaned up. And then I think we can clean up the smaller pocket quickly as well. This is a major... Okay, yeah, so we see that Berlin has now sent volunteers. I don't know how many troops they've actually sent. But we now know that they have sent troops. Do we know how many divisions they actually have in total? Where is South Africa? 28 to 58. So I think... it's looking good for us. Especially now we're getting these little pockets cleared up. While Portuguese colonial administration over Mozambique and Angola is a thing of the past, not more than a mention within the history books. Am I paused? Yes. The recency of this history now has the potential to pay dividends within the war effort. The game's not paused. In a recent coordination efforts hosted in Washington, senior members of the Iberian military provided us with a plethora of dated maps and documentation hailing from the late era of Portuguese colonial control over Mozambique and Angola. The content of the documents provides detail at great length upon the industrial and infrastructural specifications of various vital regions within Mozambique and Angola, not controlled by the Reichskommissariats of the Africa Shield. We estimate that these maps, while outdated, are likely to this date accurate to a high degree. The information provided by the Iberians should prove invaluable for the continued effectiveness of the American bombing campaign against our enemies as we begin to accurately strike at vital enemy logistics and industrial centers. Okay, we're now positive in political power. We're going to get these aircraft probably going to Southwest Africa now. Have all of these units redeploy. And it's time for us to start crushing these units back to Southwest Africa. Like, we are on the precipice for total OFN victory in Africa. It is an inevitability. We just got to make sure history kind of, you know, goes the right way. And I think I want you here. Solid NPP campaign. We love to see it. And let us... I mean, okay, we don't care about the flyover states, I don't think. Let's campaign once again in New York. And all of you, please redeploy as quickly as you possibly can. RDC has a respectable campaign. Move you in this direction up to Uppington, which is not, I think, a named real place, but who am I to deny it? Okay, so our tanks are coming around here. Mechanized divisions are coming around as well. Men, Tekel, Abharschen. Senator Johnson, Bennett, and Speaker of the House McCormick sat across from President Nixon in the Oval Office. The tension between the three congressmen is so thick that you cut it with a knife. All the formalities have been dealt with, so all that remains was their assessment on how the upcoming impeachment trial would go. McCormick was the first to break the ice. The situation on the Capitol Hill is, to put it bluntly, sir, gloomy. Nixon's brow furrowed. How gloomy? Yes, sir. McCormick replied. Wait, no, damn gloomy. Yes, sir, McCormick replied, not missing a beat. When the articles of impeachment are read before the House, there's no question as to which way the vote will go. As for the Senate, Johnson looked over to where McCormick left off. In the Senate, you'll need, what, 34 votes to acquit? You'll likely get 12, maybe 15 if you're lucky. Even if I put the fear of God in every senator on the floor, you never hit 34. And which way would you gentlemen vote? Nixon asked the senators. They stared down on the floor, their sides betraying their intentions. For a brief moment, the maelstrom of rage seemed to brew behind Nixon's eyes, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. The rest of the meeting was rather unremarkable, and the senators departed from the White House in a swarm of journalists trying to glean a hint at what went on in there. Nixon, however, would not reveal his thoughts on the meeting until he sat down for dinner with his wife and daughter that night. Girls, we're moving back to California. This will be a controversy that follows the RDC for 4 weeks. Coalition unity is going to go down. Everybody's going to support the NPP more. We love to see it. So I think you're good here. If we can get ourselves another encirclement, that is what we want to see. I don't know why the game's paused. It's probably like another peace event. Independence of Anatolia. Did Kurdistan declare their independence? Okay. Restoration of the Ukrainian Socialist Soviet Republic. That is... you're probably just going to get invaded by Germany at some point. Game? Nope. Let's wait for the program to respond. Sometimes Holy 4 says it's going to crash, but it doesn't quite get there. Okay, so... like, what does this mean, then, for Eastern Europe? And also the extreme lagginess of the game at the moment. Yeah, so you're going to be fighting for Crimea. The military construction site 1. What faction are you? Like, I honestly have no idea what side you align with. Which makes things very weird. Now, again, Ukraine is almost certainly going to get invaded by Germany. I can't imagine that the Germans are just going to allow the Soviets to own Ukraine. It just doesn't seem realistic. Nixon retires. Richard Nixon stared at the faces surrounding him in the East Room. Staffers, Secret Service, cooks, custodians, all of them having served his administration as loyally as they could for the past 4 years. He had decided to pontificate with them for a few minutes. At the very least, he could learn what they can learn not to do what he did. And remember, he concluded, though your enemies may try to drag you down, never step down to their level. Never sink into pettiness and spite. Never submerge yourself in hate. Because once you do, they will triumph and they will destroy yourself. It has been an honor. Thank you. He stepped out of the East Room to muted applause. With all the paperwork signed and noon just seconds away, Nixon opened the doors to the south lawn of the White House, holding it for Pat, Tricia, and Julie, followed by John and Jackie McKennedy. The press, of course, turned out to revel in his dethronement, a final twist of the knife. But Nixon took it in stride that he wouldn't be there for them to cook it around much longer. At the stairway of Marine One, Nixon shook Kennedy's hand, simply stating, "Keep her steady, Jack." He climbed the stairway and turned around for one last look at the White House, the Joint Staff, the guards, the reporters, the cameras, and he couldn't stop himself from smiling. He gave away and threw up 2 V for victory signs, chuckling at the end at fervent applause as he got from the crowd, and he turned around and stepped into the Marine One and into history. He was soon borne away from the waves, lost in darkness and distance. So Nixon's going to retire, our focus is going to change. All voters will support the NPP a little bit more. So I guess this is just not going to happen, because this is going to change immediately. I mean, I guess we could theoretically wait a few days, because this will take 12 days. You are going to take... you know what? Let's just keep that in the side for now. And let us finish our India focus before we actually click this button. Okay, never mind. We might also be having an issue here as well. So you know what? Screw it. Let's just click the button. Richard Nixon has resigned, which means that this should get canceled. JFK is now the president. The National Security Avery. As the National Security Council convened in the Situation Room, the president felt like he had just... like he was in Avery. Hawks and doves flew around Richard Nixon, squawking, singing, laid out on the table a map of Western Europe. Now, technically, this should say... if I clicked the button earlier, this would probably say JFK, but... whatever. To the north, a liberated and nervous England self-evaded a growing German force with the sword of a coiled spring, a hawk perched on a soldier. It's all bluster, Mr. President. He jabbed his sharp finger at the southern coastline. Germany's military organization is shot. High command is still bickering with each other even after the power struggle, and is bleeding morale at all levels. They still have to deal with their colonies, and their politics are in disarray. To speak candidly, they can't do shit right now. Send a few vessels in the channel, and they'll back down. A dove flew around the president, sat down next to him. Sir, Germany still considers England its backyard. To them, this is a jumped-up rebellion that got lucky. They'll never accept any escalation on our end. We'll turn this from an internal conflict to an external one. Another hawk's finger flew onto the map, pointing directly at London. Besides the fact that we finally have a chance to break into Europe, do you know how it would look if we abandoned not just an OFN-friendly fighters, but the country we share cultural roots with? What happens when all of our potential allies decide they're better off just going it alone, or worse, with the sphere? The bickering reach a crescendo. Overlapping statements, orders, insults. We have to help them. You risk war. Then fuck it. Let them just declare war. Enough, called out Richard Nixon. He folded his hands together, fingers digging into the skin. London's future, celebrations on fire, heaven or hell, was in his hands. Send them in. We offer a guaranteed independence. It will be accepted by Free Britain. And with that, I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not joking, thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.